Okay, so we're gonna move into the strengthening, but we always want to be like, we want mobility with our strength, we want fluidity with our strength, and we want relationship and connection with our strength. We never want to feel like we're a concrete block. That's not really efficient strength, it's not easeful strength, and it actually robs us of the vitality that we're trying to create by strengthening our body, movement of our body through our fitness practice. So the first one we're gonna do, I have a green band. This is like a medium. You might like something lighter. I wouldn't go much heavier with this because we do want to get a pretty good range of motion. So tension is very personal, the resistance. So you could always start with some, I like to say, cooked spaghetti, and then you move into that resistance. I also like to wrap my hands around this band. That way I don't have to have this tight grip, which is really a contraction rather than a condensing. And contracting is more of that concrete block. Condensing is more of that sponging, where we have that sensory experience and that fluid mobility underneath. Okay, so here we go. This is just a double rotation outwards, a double external rotation. Let's find the middle first, a little lift of the pelvis so there's support for everything above. And then you're gonna rotate out and return. Now imagine your arms were like, how about like a garden hose? And we don't want to kink the garden hose. So even though our elbows are bent, we still can feel that flow from the middle of your body. We massage there, that breastbone, all the way out through your shoulders, down your arms to your wrists and your hands. And we can check in with those wrists. Sometimes the hands like to lead and they get bossy, and then we get these broken looking wrists. See if you can keep the wrist, I'm going to use the word neutral. And we're going to do 4 more of these. You can notice if one arm likes to do more than the other. See if you can balance that out a little bit. We're not totally symmetrical, but in practices like this, it can be nice to find just an awareness of a little bit more symmetry. And that might not be possible, especially if you've had, an injury, if there's some arthritis in the shoulder. So you just do what you can do. If you feel like you're practicing and, feeling your muscles working, it's a good thing. One more. Rotate and return. Beautiful. Now we're gonna sit on this. So this band I have is very long. I can actually just put it right in the middle. But if you have a shorter band, you're gonna wanna pull it over to the, let's say we'll pull it over to the left side so that we can flip it over like a seat belt, and we can do this work on that right arm. And I'm just mirroring you, so it's easier to follow me. So I have my palm facing down, and again, might feel nice to wrap the band so you don't have to grip as hard. So this first one, we're gonna choke up a little bit because this is gonna be a small movement. We're gonna focus on the upper arm bone, the elbow, leading us out. Even though the hand is attached, it's not the hand that's initiating, it's that elbow. Now, let's go to that I am whole and connected and in relationship idea. When this lifts, can you follow this past your shoulder, down, down, down into the pelvis? So the pelvis is actually creating the support for that arm to go out. This also means if we have that support, we have a lift here. What we have to be careful of is that we don't turn this into military posture. Oh, I'm gonna do this. That's again that contracting of tissue. Can you feel like you breathe? And the breath can go everywhere. We're gonna do 2 more. And last one. Beautiful. Now we're going to lengthen the lever, which means we might want to go a little further out on the end here. And first pancake, yeah, it can be messy and you can make the next one better. So let's just go for it. So we take that arm out like we did. And now as you move out, this hand is going to take over. It's going to unfold because it's taking us way out into space. Now the rest of you is deeply connected, so can you find counterbalance in your body, a little lift of the pelvis, and all of the other side can feel like it's expanding out this way. And then as you come back in, can you feel like everything's coming back into the center, not just your arm. And then going back out. So we start with that little upper arm movement and everything is expanding. The image I like to give of this is a puffer fish. You want to channel your inner puffer fish and come back down. Let's try 2 more of these. Now you might be like me. I love being in my back. I'm like, oh. So I'm going to try to keep a wide back body. Or you might be like someone who is a little bit collapsed. So you just want to find that balance of front to back. Can you feel round like a puffer fish? And we are going to do 1 more of these. Could certainly do more, but I don't want to keep you here all day. And then return. And also, once you know this, you can go and do this on your own. You won't even need me. But if you want to, visit me again, I'd be happy to do shoulder work with you anytime. So now we flip to the other side. And we're going to start with the upper arm. It's like a shorter lever. It's less to pay attention to. It's less coordination to worry about. So we are building this practice. And we can find the center. You can use your breath for that. You can let your breath breathe. Sometimes, if we're not aware of what we do with our breath in the first place, doing a prescribed breath can actually kind of complicate things and muck things up. Because we might already be a big chest breather, and then we're going to take this big inhale, and it puts all kinds of tension up there. 4 more. Now, as this is going up, this collarbone is moving. You could even put your hand there. And if that collarbone is moving and this arm is moving, it means your shoulder blade is moving a little bit. We don't want them to be stuck on our back. This is this whole, family that moves together. And return. Now, let's go a little further out, a little less tension to begin with. There's our cooked spaghetti. And initiating from that upper arm, and then it's the hand. And another great place to check in with the wrist. Now we have this condensing. Think of your fist like a sponge. And then returning in, and even when you return in and this resistance lessens, your hand can relax a little bit. Sometimes we have this death grip the whole time, right? And then expanding, feel the whole body expand. And return. So are we working the shoulder complex? Is that kind of our specific focus? Yes. But nothing in our body exists on its own. Here we go. Expanding. And returning. Let's do 1 more. And expand. And return. Beautiful. 1 more practice. That was very asymmetrical. We could also use the word homolateral if we're talking about developmental patterns. So now we're going to go into something that is symmetrical and homologous, so it's very organizing. So I'm wrapping the band, and again, the resistance is really personal, and I'm going to make fists again. I want to really get aware of my fingers, my fingertips. They have a deep, deep relationship to my shoulder joint. So I want to just make sure that I feel that they're all kind of squeezing in equally, but I don't have that death grip. And here we go. I'm going to bring elbows forward and send those arms up. My thumbs are pointing towards me. Or actually, I should say they're facing me, but they're up, pointing up towards the ceiling. Here we go. So you're going to send those arms up. The elbows come forward. And as those arms go up, you're trying to keep the elbows forward for as long as possible. And the rest of you is softening into the chair. There's a counterbalancing. So your spine, see if you can do this while you do this. Woo! And then bring yourself down, rotating the elbows forward. Now I've had an injury to my left shoulder, which is going to look like my right to you. And as I go up, it's challenging to keep that elbow forward on that left side. So my right side is helping teach me, like, oh, that's how it goes. So my focus is inward. I'm not so worried about completing reps. I'm more interested in sensation and the quality of my movement. Whew. Let's do one more this way. Collarbones are rolling upwards. Did you know that? Your collarbones can roll upwards. Oh, that left arm, wow, challenging. But I'm not bypassing it. I'm not walking on it. I'm aware of it. And sometimes it takes a little bit of non-judgment because I'm like, oh, you know, stinking shoulder. All right, so now we're gonna do elbows out to the side. Same thing, press up. As the arms go up, think of the pelvis dropping into that band that's underneath you, like you were in a swing. And see if you can move yourself around so that our spine is soft as we do this. And then return back down. We don't need to guard and protect and lock. And elbows should have been out to the side. I was so busy saying what I was saying that mine went a little forward. And we're gonna do 2 more of these. So you move downwards. There's the support, and then you move upwards. Hands reaching. You could go back to that idea of the garden hoses, so we wouldn't want to lock our elbows out at the top. This isn't powerlifting. This is some strengthening work where we are incorporating the whole body, even though our focus is on the shoulders. And then return and rest. Drop that off, shake everything out. So if we did have some tightness, this is just helping bring some fluidity in. Shaking is also really good for our nervous system. So, you know, if you did have like some persistent pain or an injury, we never want the brain to, you know, predict and go, oh, that, you know, I don't think that's going to be good. And then it sends, you know, says send pain signals. So the shaking kind of interrupts that conversation. And lets this information flow in as positive, healthy information. So there is our wonderful shoulder practice.